All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Lizzie Harrison, and I'm the School Liaison and Marketing Officer at the college. Firstly, I really want to thank you for joining our webinar today to find out more about Oaklands College and the opportunities that are available to you. Last week, we should have held our open days, but obviously due to the current circumstances, this was not possible. However, we wanted to offer you the next best thing, which is this webinar today, giving you the chance to see some of our facilities, find out more about the courses, meet some of our tutors, and find out a little bit more about college life as well. Here today, we have our Head of Department, Andy Moore, members of the curriculum that are available for a Q&A at the end, and some of our student support team as well. If you have any questions, please use the chat functionality. There's a little speech bubble icon at the bottom of your screen. So feel free to ask any questions throughout the webinar, and Andy and his team will be able to answer them in the Q&A at the end. We're aiming to run this session for about 30 minutes, and we're also recording it, and we'll post the link on our website so you can go back and watch it anytime. We will also be sending you information about the webinar, which will include a variety of different links to different videos from staff and students, and a link to a virtual tour so you can have a good look around the campus. We understand that these are difficult times and want to assure you that Oaklands College are here to support you on the next stage of your education journey. So on behalf of the college, I would also like to thank the NHS and key workers for all of their amazing support and work throughout the coronavirus. So before we get started, can I ask that everyone's videos are off and their audio is set to mute? And now I'll pass you over to Andy Moore.
Thank you, Lizzie. Welcome, everyone. As Lizzie said, please make sure that you are posting any questions you've got throughout the presentation today. And we will begin. So welcome. Firstly, to those that obviously have maybe never come to the St Albans campus, there's just an award-winning facilities within our college campus. It is set within a wide open countryside. It's in terms of on the slides that you can see now, there is an award-winning restaurant that students and staff can all go to for lunch and have some really, really nice meals. There are other things around. There's a brand new residential building that will be ready for the next academic year. There is also new teaching blocks that are being built. In terms of St Albans campus, is always changing, always improving, which is a great thing to be a part of. In terms of in terms of sport and public services, things that we should be focusing on is in terms of our multi-sport facilities. So as you can see from some of the images, our sports hall, we have 2 full-size basketball courts, 8 badminton courts. There is a performance gym. The performance gym is used by some of our academies, and those academies are linked with different clubs such as Saracens or Mavericks within netball. So it is a performance gym. We also have 2 hockey astroturfs that you can see in the bottom right hand corner, and there is also a brand new 3G pitch that all students will be using throughout their time on our courses. Also, with these being used within our courses, our academies also use these facilities. Now you can see we have athletics, basketball, there's an emerging athletic sports programme. Football, we have 2 offers there. There's a St Albans Football Academy and an Arsenal's Women Academy. We have a hockey, netball and a rugby academy. These academies are very, very strong. They, as you can see from some of the images, the St Albans Football Academy have won many leagues, many titles. In terms of our athletics, we have Olympians and Paralympians. We have 2 of the top 100-metre and 200-metre sprinters within the country. And it is a great opportunity for you to be able to be a student athlete that you can train and study along at the same time. Now, with each of these academies, you obviously have to be a part of a course. Now, some of the course information here around sport and public services is here, and I'm going to just pass you over to Kerry Hood, who is the coordinator for our level 1 and our level 2. He will then go through what you may see on these courses. So over to you, Kerry.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name's Kerry. I'm the level 1 and 2 coordinator for sport. To give you an overview of the level 1 course, we'll do 4 units that are basically skill-based to develop employability skills. Those units are being organised, personal progression plan, working with others and researching a topic. You'll do 6 other units within the level 1 course. 3 of them will be sport-based and 3 of them will be public service-based. That will give students the opportunity to then either go on to the level 2 course in sport or the level 2 course in public services. In terms of the level 2 curriculum, there are 8 units. Some of the units run along the whole way throughout the year. So long and thin. The range of units we cover practical sport, anatomy and physiology, fitness testing and training, nutrition and sport, physiology, planning and leading sports activities, technical and tactical demands of sport, and then psychology and sport. So we cover a wide range of units, which will give students that underpinning knowledge when they go on and hopefully progress onto our level 3 courses. Now, depending on GCSE grades, all students would be required to do some form of maths and English unless they had a grade 4 in either English and maths. Along with this, students would be expected to do work experience. At level 1, that would be 30 hours across the academic year, and on level 2, it would be 40 hours across the academic year. That covers very quickly the level 1 and level 2 courses. So, Andy, back over to you.
Thank you, Kerry. We move down onto our level 3 suite. We have 3 different options here. We're going to start with our sport and exercise science. So I'm going to pass over to Zoe, who is the coordinator of this course.
Hi everyone. So the sport and exercise science course, it is a new specification that we are going to be delivering from September. So the course will include some exams, okay, and also some work that is done through assessments and practical assessments. So it's a 2-year course to get the full extended diploma, okay, and in the first year there are 2 exams, and in the second year there are 2 exams, and the rest of the units are made up through assessments that are done, such as writing reports, doing projects that may include collecting some practical information, some data from some practicals. We might have activities where you will work within your classroom settings, and that will help you for those assessments. In terms of what you will be studying, it's a range of different units across the 2 years. That would include functional anatomy, sport and exercise physiology, applied sport and exercise psychology, nutrition, and it will also include things such as field and laboratory-based fitness testing, research methods. We'll be looking at things like biomechanics, specialised fitness training, and injuries. So it is quite an intensive 2 years. Those 2 years would be the equivalent of doing 3 A-levels, so it is of that standard. In terms of the requirements for that course, you'd be looking at having a minimum of 4 GCSEs at grade 4 and above, and those GCSEs must include English, maths and science at a grade 4 or above. Okay, Andy, pass back to you.
Thank you. I think just on top of that as well is that with regards to our sport and exercise science, as Zoe said, this is equivalent to 3 A-levels, and this would be very much looking for you to go directly into higher education, to be looking at certain jobs around maybe physiotherapist, nutritionist, looking at biomechanics. So it's very much a route that will lead on to higher education or going into some direct employment. Thank you, Zoe. We're going to go over to the next 2, which would be sports coaching and development, and then the sports fitness and personal training. I'm going to pass you over to Ben, who is the coordinator for both of these.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you're well. So the two courses that we run, as Andy mentioned, the sports coaching and development and sports fitness and personal training, they're more geared, if you like, towards the industry itself. So doing the qualification with us will then leave you qualified to go into both either, well, depending on what course you're doing, the sports coaching and development. That would allow you to go into a coaching setup, and then the sport fitness and personal training will then take you into a gym setup. Let me give you a little bit more information though on the coaching and development first. So across it, very similar to the sports science in terms of a 2-year course. In each year, you will study or cover 6 different units. This will range from everything from just looking at your basic coaching skills, which will actually help you then develop a portfolio, anything from creating your business to actually working with people with a range of different needs, whether that's children, whether that's people with disabilities, whether that's getting engagement rates up, potentially even looking at initiatives through sports development, where you might look at reducing crime, increasing participation numbers in different sports, whether that's men in one sport, women in another, even looking at older age groups to get them more physically active, and then looking at the sort of health and well-being and what benefits sport can actually offer to those people that you will be coaching. Again, going through the sports coaching and development qualification from year 1 and year 2, that will give you the equivalent to 3 A levels. Although this is very sort of sports-based, industry-based, at the end of that qualification, if you desire to do so, you can then move on to university. At the end of the qualification, you will actually get a recognised coaching qualification for multi-sports and multi-skills via an agency called SimSpa. Now, SimSpa are a new agency that are currently bringing out sort of new legislation and working with national governing bodies to ensure that we can get people into employment. And we'll support you with that. Almost to mirror that, the sports fitness and personal training course is very similar in the sense that it's a 2-year course. You will study 6 units in year 1 and 6 units in year 2. However, for those of you that aren't familiar with the personal training or fitness industry, previously we would have had the level 2 fitness qualification, which would allow you to go and become maybe like a gym instructor. You could potentially work on a gym floor, but you wouldn't take on clients maybe on a one-to-one basis. You might run some classes here, there, and then start working towards your personal training qualification. So that's kind of our year 1 program. That's where we're going with that. So we give you the clear fundamentals in year 1. This is sort of the careers of being in the sport and active leisure industry. We again look at sort of your health and well-being in sports. However, in this sense, we don't build a coaching portfolio, we actually build a fitness and skills development. So that's all around knowing your anatomy and physiology, health and safety within a gym environment, working with specific groups, and actually how to instruct and structure a session. We then look at self-employment within the fitness industry as well. So the idea would be that you would progress with us, stay with us onto year 2. We then develop and enhance that knowledge a little bit further by looking at the business and technology that's contemporary in the world today, especially sort of nowadays with the lockdown going on. We explore a range of social media tools that we can use, looking at different avenues and how to actually get those numbers in, starting to create your first client base. And that helps with the research project and also developing your skills as a personal trainer. So from year 1 to year 2, you develop this long portfolio, again, setting you up for the industry. Very similar to the other 2 courses that we've been speaking about on level 3. If you don't want to then take that into industry and you prefer to extend your knowledge further, the course does then set you up for university as it's equivalent to 3 A levels. Similar to the coaching, we then go into gain a SimSpa qualification that is now taking over something that was referred to as reps. Again, this means that you are qualified, certified to then go into industry as a personal trainer after the 2 years. I think I've covered everything. Back to you, Andy.
Perfect. Thank you, Ben. Yes. With regards to all our level 3, so they all lead into higher education. And then obviously with an added bonus in terms of the coaching and the personal training, you're able to gain qualifications that would also allow you to go straight into employment, or you could go to university and also be a personal trainer whilst you're at university, or even take a gap year and work in gyms as you're traveling or coaching and things on those lines. There is also, this may be a question that some of you might ask in terms of some of you may be looking at certain A levels. Obviously, we don't do an A levels in PE at the college, but there is that's going to be going up on our website very soon, looking at a specific, so you'll be able to do 2 to 3 AS subjects, maybe along biology, psychology, and then you'd also be able to do a certificate in sport and exercise science that would then also build towards maybe going into physiotherapy or sports psychology. Thank you all for that, the sports tutors. I'm now going to move over to public services, where obviously you have the level 1 would be the first route, the first step on, in terms of if you had no grade entries in terms of your GCSEs, and then move to the level 2, which Ewan, who is the coordinator, is going to go through these 3 courses.
Morning, everyone. So, as Andy said, there are 2 levels for public services, well, technically 3. So you can progress from the level 1 in sport and public services onto our level 2 course. And from the level 2 course, you can either progress straight into the public services or come on to our level 3, which is the equivalent of a 2-year A level. In the main, our public services courses are about investigating and shaping knowledge and skills relating to the public uniformed services, and that's both the armed, such as the Army, Navy and RAF, and the unarmed forces. So, we talk about firefighters, paramedics, police and so on. Ultimately, they are designed to set you up for work in the public services, but our level 3 courses set you up for university, and we find that a lot of our students use this qualification to go on to study law, criminology, or some of them are now moving on to the brand new police degree, which is a requirement for those of you thinking about going into the police. In terms of the units that we study, we look at things right from sort of different levels of government, war and conflict, law, the criminal justice service, as well as other more sort of exciting and outdoor based activities such as outdoor pursuits, fitness for the public services and the emergency operations in various situations. One of the benefits of studying on the public services course is that, as well as classroom teaching, we like to have people apply that knowledge as well as being exposed to the public services. So we have a lot of visits to the college from the the RAF, police and the fire service, and that actually then follows on to work experience with the fire service for 2 weeks. And we also have trips. So we tend to have outdoor pursuits, so things like rock climbing, using the climbing walls, team building, orienteering, and then we have had trips to the Royal Courts of Justice and the Houses of Parliament in London, so that people get a better understanding of where that work takes place and where a lot of that governance is coming from. So like I said, in public services, it's a very clear structure and pathway leading towards the public services, but it does also put you in a position where you've got quite a rounded knowledge that can take you into other sort of HE areas as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ewan. Yes, I must say, in terms of what Ewan said there, from last academic year, we had 33% of our learners went straight into working into employment. We had another 33% that went straight into working with regards to the public services, and another 33% went on to higher education, doing degrees within the public service, such as the policing degree, criminal psychology and degrees in criminology. In terms of how sometimes, obviously, those qualifications, which one is right for you, there is a generic grade entry for our levels. So our level 1, there is no formal entry requirements in terms of this, and you do your course, and also you would study your maths and English alongside your level 1. The level 2 then goes to 3 GCSEs with grade 3 or a grade D or higher, or have a level 1 in sport or a level 1 in public services, and you'd be able to go straight into level 2. I must say both of those courses are 1 year, and then we have our level 3, which is 4 GCSEs with grade 4 or a grade C and above, and that must include maths and English. Apart from with the sports science, it should include maths, English and science. Now, we know we spoke in terms of those level 3s that they are over 2 years. They can also be done as a 1 year, so it would mean you get the equivalent of 1.5 A levels, and it may mean that you've done the 1.5 A levels, done the first year, thought that was brilliant, but actually maybe my career path has changed, or I've got an interest in something else, so you may be going into an apprenticeship that you'd be able to leave after that first year. So although, yes, they are over 2 years, you can complete the first year. You would leave them with a foundation diploma, and then you could go into maybe employment or into an apprenticeship, or even a foundation degree, or you could stay with us, get the full extended diploma, which is the equivalent to 3 A levels. In terms of our level 4 and level 5, there isn't anything that we currently run this year for sport and public services. However, there are other areas within the college that do, and that requires the 48 UCAS points, GCSE, Maths and English for grade 4 and above. Now, what is your study program? So again, your study program is ultimately the journey that you come on in terms of at Oaklands College. So this will include the vocational course that you will do, so either sport or public services. This may include your Maths and English if you are looking or having to resit that. So if you have a grade 3 or below, you will be required to study your Maths and English alongside your course. There is also then would be including some of your academy hours, so the training, the matches that you play there are included within your study program. There is e-learning, there is directed study, and the work experience. As Kerry mentioned and some of the other tutors mentioned in terms of work experience, every student is required to complete hours between 20 and 40, depending on your level and the qualification that you have, and I'll go into a bit more detail on that a little bit later. There's also the personal development skills that we have that is part of your study program, where you gain can gain extra qualifications, or even just gain insight into healthy lifestyle, staying safe online, and other things that is mentioned there on the slide. So how your courses work in terms of majority, so any learner that is looking to be a part of an academy, you will be in college for 4 days. When I say days as well, in terms of your academic, it's always a half a day. So either you would study 9 till kind of 12:15, then you would then have your lunch, and then you'd be with your academy from 1 till kind of 4:30, or it may be the other way around, where you would do your training in the morning and then you would study in the afternoon. As I said, you'd be in 4 days, so that would be your Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and a Friday, whereas a Wednesday at our college, it is our game day, so that's where academies will be all playing their games. If you weren't within an academy, we look to maybe usually have that over 3 days. Again, it would be 2 half days, and a third day would be slightly longer. Our lessons are different and varying. So as Ewan said as well, that we try to get learners to use that experience that they've gained. So there will be tutor-led presentations. It may even be student-led presentations. You'd have group and individual activities. There were also practical assessments and practical sessions. There is tutor support throughout. We have a virtual learning environment, which is our Canvas page, where all your information, resources, assignments would be uploaded on there. Any presentations or lessons all go up there. So if you were ever ill or had a driving test, you wouldn't ever miss any of those resources, and they're all there for you to able to access. Also on the right hand side there, it says everyone needs a grade 4. Yes, it's great in terms of there are so many studies now in terms of getting that grade 4 that you can, in terms of having more options, further employment, and also getting better paid jobs. So it doesn't matter if you don't get that grade 4, you will always study your Maths and English to make sure that we can try and get you that grade 4 and move forward. However, if you are in an academy and you weren't able to get the grade 4, that GCSE lesson is then the carrot on the stick that you pass that, you get your grade 4, and then you can go back into your training there for one of those sessions. Student support. So all students will have a personal tutor. You will have an hour and a half with that personal tutor every week. You will have a sit down one-to-one where you will review your performance. You'll look at what's gone really, really well, maybe areas you need to work on. You look at setting targets, and it may even be that you'd bring some assignments and get them to read through, work on your analysing or justifying there. There is, again, regular monitoring of progress via our performance via the Pro portal. And again, this is looking at where you'd be setting your targets and what's required of you. Again, with the support you have as your tutors, there are also student advisors, and they provide welfare support and advice. And this could be anything from going down and speaking to them around financial, it could be bursaries, it could even be anything around what's happening in the classroom or outside of the classroom. There is, as I said, financial support for those that maybe need it. So it could be looking at travel bursaries, things on those lines. And as I said, on the right hand side, there is discounted travel. So our learners, once they have their student ID badge, I don't know if you've seen them, there's a pinky purple Uno bus that we have a link with in terms of you get a discounted rate in terms of the buses. And again, all this information is on our website, and I do advise you to go and look at that. There is also regular contact with parents and carers. They would also have access to the Pro portal, so they're able to see what your grades are, if there's any comments that tutors have written about you. As I said earlier around work experience, everyone's required to do that work experience. This is a great opportunity for you to have an understanding of maybe a career that you want to go into. You wouldn't want to study for 2 years, maybe go on to higher education, do an extra 3 years, and then go into a job that you've never had any work experience in. This is your opportunity to do multiple different areas and see what's best for you. As it says on there, we have a dedicated team that have over 300 employers that we work with. In terms of sport, there are varying work experience that have been going on in terms of looking at coaching, shadowing PE teachers, looking at physiotherapists, nutritionists, working with elite clubs. And a lot of these students have actually gained part-time jobs or full-time jobs once they finish college, which has been an excellent experience. Our student experience here, in terms of Poppy and Jess, I believe Lizzie is going to post these videos. So there's some videos about what their experience is, what their highlights, and some advice that they would give you in terms of being at Oaklands College. So Poppy is a student that's on our level 2 program that is just finishing this year, and Jess is on our level 3 development coaching and fitness. I definitely advise that you look at these. They will also be sent to you, and they just give you some advice about the support they were given. They talk about making sure you're staying on top of your assignments, doing the research, and ensuring you move forward with that. Again, some of our student success stories, these are on the websites, but these are some learners that have come through sport and public services. So in the middle there, you've got Joel Kapoku, who finished just over 2 years ago now, is working, is obviously with Saracens. He's gone away with England under 20s for the World Cup as well. And there's some more students on here that you can have a look at in terms of, I said, we've got Olympians and Paralympians, and all this information is on our website, and I definitely advise you to go and check it out. So our 6 steps to starting at Oaklands, I'm going to pass you over to Lizzie, and Lizzie will go through this now.
Cool, thanks, Andy. Okay, yeah, so just a little bit more about the application process. So you can apply for a course via our website at www.oaklands.ac.uk. And if you need to talk to anyone about your course, please email info@oaklands.ac.uk. Or we've got a live chat functionality on our website, which is at the bottom right-hand side of the screen. If you're not sure what you would like to study at this time, you can apply for more than one course. Once you've applied, our admissions team will review your application and be in contact via email. So please remember to check your emails regularly. We know at this time it is difficult with grades, but you'll be collecting your results from school on the normal results day in August, obviously in line with government guidelines. We'll be in contact regarding enrolment in August once we've been made aware by the government of next steps, and we'll keep you informed between now and August of any news that we hear. So again, keep an eye on your emails. So once you've enrolled, your course will begin in September, and we'll look forward to welcoming you to Oaklands College. So to keep up to date with college news, please obviously visit our website, and if you've got any questions, shoot us an email or use the chat function on our website. And follow us on our social media channels. So we're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. We will now have a Q&A session. So if you haven't already, please post your questions in the chat window, and Andy and his team will be able to answer them. Back to you, Andy.
Thank you. So please, as Lisa said, if you've got your questions in there, Kerry's going to read out any questions that have come through so far.
Okay, so the first question that's come through is, if we want to join an academy, do we have to study a course too, and do we have to have a trial?
I believe so. I will answer this, but there is. I know some of the academies heads are in here as well. So in terms of an academy, yes, you are a student athlete, so you'd have to be on a course to be in any of the academies. In terms of that, the academies then usually have trials that obviously were going on, but due to the lockdown, there is more information on that. If you are looking at any of the academies, if you go on our website, there is also all their contact details, and you're able to apply there. You'll also be sent their details after this, so you can, any direct questions you've got there. I know that there is some academy heads in here, so I don't know if Karen, if there's anything that you would like to add towards that. And Karen is works for the St Albans Football Academy. Looks like I must have covered it all, so that's fine. Kerry, is there any other questions?
Yeah. So do I have to pay for academy kit if we want to join one, and how much is it?
So yes, there is a fee for the kit, but this will range depending on the academy. And as I said, depending on the academy that you're looking at, I would definitely, once you've got their contact details after this, that you then contact them. So for some, there are different packages that you can have. So in terms of working on a bronze package where you may just get the plain kit, shorts and t-shirt, but also with this kit it is provided and it gives you then that you'd wear that in class, so it'd allow us when certain times you're in a classroom and maybe you haven't quite understood exactly what we're talking about, we may then go out onto the AstroTurf or into the gym, and then you'd be able to talk about or be able to use that and you wouldn't be in your jeans or a t-shirt, so that's there as well.
Next question. How many days do we spend in college on the full-time course?
So, as I said, in terms of sport, public services like given usually in 3 days. For sport, you'd have 4 days in terms of lessons, but in terms of if you're in an academy there, you will be in kind of all week, so you'd have lessons maybe in the morning or an afternoon, but you train in the morning and afternoon, and then also on the Wednesday you'd be in college to have your game. Some obviously are played at home, so they'd be at St Albans, and then obviously some would also be away and there'd be travel there. Ryan Freckleton is head of athletics. He may be able to give you a bit more information now just on what that day may look like and training times and things like that. I'll pass you over to Ryan now.
Hi everyone. My name is Ryan Freckleton from the Athletics Academy, but I can speak roughly on all academies. Your normal day would look like, for example, if you're in one of the AM educational pathways, you'd be in from 9 o'clock studying to roughly around 1:15. You'd get your short break, and then you'd go out into either onto the pitches, out onto the track, onto the AstroTurfs. Typically training would be around 2 to 3 hours. And that could be split depending on which academy you're in. You might be out on the pitches, say from 2 till 3:30, and then maybe into the gym from around 3:30 till 5 o'clock. If you're on the athletics pathway, it would look more like 2 o'clock out on the AstroTurfs doing some technical work, and then you'd go into the gym till about 5 o'clock. Bolstering that as well, within the academy structure, you have therapists available, which is, I think, an area that hasn't quite been touched on. So each academy has the facility to help you in times of injury, or if you need preparation for a training session. That complements well with the strength and conditioning units.
Perfect. Thank you, Ryan. Kerry, anything else?
Yeah, public service question. Do I have to buy a uniform for the public service course? Currently
at the moment, no. Obviously, with regards to we're still obviously in lockdown, and we're waiting on the government to let us know when we're going to be obviously coming back into college. So in terms of a kit for the moment, that's not a requirement, no.
Next question. Are there any course limitations with academies? Can I study any course and play for an academy too?
So there are some limitations. Not all courses are open to academies. For instance, if there are courses that are run over in Welwyn Garden City, that's obviously a limitation that all our academies are based over in the St Albans campus. What I would advise is, if you are looking at obviously different curriculum areas, that you speak to those tutors around, do the timetables marry up and fit with those certain academies. However, if the academy timetables fit, there is no limitation to what academy you can obviously play for.
Okay, next question. With the lockdown in play, will trials for basketball academy take place when we have started college in September?
In terms of that, there will be some more information regarding the trials, not just for basketball, obviously the same for football as well. But there will be information that will be posted regarding that. And it may be that once college is back open and there were obviously face-to-face, there will be a trial there then. But there will be more information posted for that.
Okay. Is there a joining fee for the academies?
No, there is no joining fee. So obviously there is a small fee for kit, but there is no joining fee as such. again, obviously, as Ryan said, all the resources that you'll use. So you'll be obviously using all the training facilities, the gym, the physios. You're also academies using performance analysis. So you'll be having your games recorded. You'll be looking at how to improve on that, but there is no joining fee.
What if I have a 3 for science? Can I use my 5 in PE instead for the BTEC level 3 course?
For the sport and exercise science, I'm assuming that would be, it would be looking at, again, we would speak to the learner maybe on an individual basis. We would usually, again, we keep those grade entries set for the reason of that's the requirement. However, that's not to say that within our first 6 weeks of any of our courses is ultimately like a trial as such, that you're getting to know the course. Is this right for you? Are we right for, is this the right subject area? And there's also a chance there, actually, if the tutors have seen that actually you could maybe even move up a level or change your course, there is an option there as well. But as a starting base, we obviously use that grade entry because obviously we don't know the student until we start to teach them, get to know them. But usually we stick to the grade entry.
A question for the college day: what is start and finish time?
Again, it will vary depending on if you're in an academy, or if you're not in an academy. They're usually a morning or an afternoon start and finish. So again, in terms of lessons, if it's an AM, you would usually start 9 o'clock and you'd be finished by 12:15. If it's an afternoon, it would be a 1:15 start and then you'd be finished by 4:30.
There's no more questions on the chat.
Okay, perfect. So again, if you do have any further questions, please post them within the next minute. If not, it seems like we've answered most of them. What I would also like to put up here again is all our tutors that you've met some today. We have obviously taken part in our loo roll challenge. Lizzie is going to, I believe, post this in the meeting chat now. This will also be sent over to you. So in terms of just keeping the tutors a bit sane, we have done the loo roll challenge. If you are looking to join Oaklands, I would urge you to create your video, join the chain, and if you can send that into the email that's on the screen, so marketing@oaklands.ac.uk, and we'll add you into that and we'll create that long chain whilst we're waiting for college to reopen.
Any other questions coming?
Yes.
Do we know when we will hear about funding for accommodation?
I believe Gary should be in the call, and he may be able to take this question. Currently, as far as I'm aware, obviously we don't know about funding as of yet until we know when we are opening, as some of those fees may change. However, there is obviously our student advice, and there is questions that you'll be given the email after this that you'll be able to post that regarding funding and finances. So at the moment there will be more information posted, but I would advise if you give that question to our student advice, which you'll get the email after this presentation. I believe hopefully that's answered everything. There is no more questions. If there isn't, then thank you very, very much for attending. Enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully we look forward to seeing you all very, very soon.
Andy, one more question.
There's another question. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yes, there is on-site parking. Excuse me, there is on-site parking obviously for cars. There are for bikes as well. There is a fee for cars, vans, and obviously bikes, in terms of you can buy them daily. It is a reduced fee, but you can also do a term where you can purchase for parking, and obviously there is storage for bikes as well on site.
Andy, just to go back to that question, if it's bicycles,
yeah,
then there is no charge for that, is there?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
as I said, I can see people are obviously starting to leave the meeting. So thank you very much for attending. Thank you for your questions. Hopefully that's answered everything. As I said, you will be getting all of our emails, so you'll be able to email us if there is anything you think you may have missed. But thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.